Welcome back to Young Money. We're now sitting down with the co-founders of Tuta-Me. That's Dylan Hyslop and Abed. Gentlemen, thank you so much for making the time to join me. I see you both have your Tuta-Me tops all decked out. Let's start off with the business. What does Tuta-Me actually do?
So thank you for having us. So Tuta-Me is an online platform that seeks to connect students to tutors. We emulate the Uber model, so essentially if you're looking for your nearest vetted tutor, you go on our app and you literally say, I'm looking for a maths class, I'm in Sandton, and the app returns to you available tutors in that time.
So Dylan, are these students in high school, or are we talking about a tertiary education sector?
Okay, well the nice thing with Tuta-Me, we cover the whole age group, basically from prep school, high school, university, and even out of varsity. We have a cool category called Other, where it could be cooking lessons or another language. So we like to focus on the whole learning platform, basically, so not a specific target.
What does the back end look like? I'm really interested, because if there's so much variation in terms of what you can do you then build on expertise in terms of tutors who have those expertise, or do you source them in an innovative way?
So what we've done nicely is when tutors apply, you almost tick your abilities or interests. So what that does is then the system's able to match. When I'm searching for an English teacher, all our tutors that have registered, they fall into that filter process. So because we've got a lot of tutors, we've got over 600 tutors on our platform, there's a lot of overlap. And the minute you add your location filter in, obviously you need a lot of tutors, because the minute you just put Cape Town, for example, then you're now only 300 tutors apply.
Exactly.
So you need a big tutor base for it to work effectively.
So Dylan, what I'm hearing is that you have to have a very big tutor base, but I want to know, what is the profile of the most of the kind of tutors that you're attracting? The people who are accessing the service is quite clear, the clients, but for you to be a tutor, how do you get onto Tuta-Me?
Yeah, so that's very important to us, right? So currently what we believe is that our platform allows people to actually have a chance. So unlike your traditional tech companies, Uber, Airbnb, where you are required to have an asset. So with Uber, you need a car. Airbnb, you need an apartment. We're sort of saying that you can monetize the skill that you already are born with, which is your brain, right? So essentially, we live in a country where we have a lot of matriculants that pass and can't get into varsity. You have equally the same number of people that finish varsity and can't get jobs. And we're sort of saying, why not monetize your brain while you're working for that? So the profile of our tutor really is anyone who has a desire to teach.
Right. And how do you then quality control to make sure that those who put up their hands actually have the skill to deliver?
So what we do is when a tutor applies, so it's nice as anyone can apply. They go on our website or app and you can click login as a tutor, then explains the process. And in that process, you have to send us all your required documents, your ID, proof of residence, and then the part that we like to focus on is your qualifications. But what's interesting about that part is it's not a requirement. We don't say you have to have a degree. What you tell us you have and can prove, we then show to the client. So when you're looking for a tutor, you'll see, this guy, he's got his master's, but he's probably 350 Rand an hour. This guy is still studying second year, because a lot of tutoring depends on your age and your gap. Why can't a second year varsity student who hasn't got his degree yet help someone in matric with their maths?
So does this also mean that there's price variation in terms of the cost of a tutor, and how do you actually work out that model?
So I think just to touch on just your previous question, I'll talk about it. So from a quality check perspective as well, ratings happen on the app. So when mom, dad, or student books a tutor, at the end of the session, they will then rate that session. And obviously that then creates quality in itself, because if you're getting a 1 rating, you're not going to get booked again, right? So talking to your next question around price. So one of the things that we were looking to solve in this tutoring space was that we believe a lot of tutoring companies, exploit tutors, and we literally give power back to the tutor. They set their own price. So we don't meddle with the price. So if you feel your hour is worth 300 Rand, you set your hour at 300 Rand. And what that does, it creates a nice price elasticity to actually make it affordable to people.
You want to add to that, Dylan?
Yeah, because what's nice about that is if you go on our platform, we literally have tutors charging 180 Rand an hour and some charging 450.
Yeah.
So it really covers the whole range of what you can afford, because it doesn't help. He might be the best tutor at 450, but I can't afford him. I actually just need someone maybe to sit and do the homework with me. And maybe he's a guy who lives in the block next door who's still studying.
So there's a huge accessibility problem that you're also solving at the same time. As you guys speak, I'm obviously thinking of the broader national conversation that we have in South Africa about access to education and the cost of education, and those that are left at the fringes and those who can afford certain services. I don't want to put words in your mouth, but what are some of the views you might have? We are at the beginning of an academic year, and we know what that usually means in South Africa: strikes, sometimes violent protests at the universities. As two young entrepreneurs who are embedded in the space, what do you think about what's happening in the country around that conversation?
Yeah, so I think one of the more inspiring things is that there's more and more companies looking to aid the education platform in South Africa.
Yeah.
I think it's a massive problem, but what keeps me inspired is that the more people we meet in the space, I get more inspired, because a lot of people are really just driven by the cause of how do we help? How do we further just contribute meaningfully to the education paradigm? I mean, we see it all the time with the fees must fall. Now it's going to be, registration fees must fall. Like there's just this endless sort of shift of I can't afford quality education, but I want it because my future depends on it. So I think that's some of the problems that we are trying to face and challenge. Massive problems though, like those aren't overnight fixes, and you can't put band-aids over it, but that's one of the things that sort of keeps us up at night and keeps us inspired to sort of say, how do we make our solution all inclusive? There's various things we're doing. We've got a program called Tuta-Me Uplift, which we literally raise funding from corporates and we go give free tutoring to township schools. We've got 5 schools that we've partnered with already. Dylan and I are also, through the app, are now able to provide registration fees for certain qualifying students. So that's just stuff that we just continuously are just trying to do, and hopefully we'll win. And I think we will, because we're driven.
Yeah, but I think a key thing of that too, I mean, also I think as tech guys you learn a lot. There's this huge big problem, and everyone's like, I'm going to solve that. And you actually have to look at it separately, like I'm going to add to that problem. So I mean, Abed and I will never fix education in South Africa, but we certainly aim to help some portion of it. So each little bit we can help and tackle. Every kid we can get access to bring on our platform is just one more kid that has access to these educational resources.
So let's stay in the future focus conversation. I mean, one of the things you've said a bit right at the beginning is that this Tuta-Me is the way you're entering the market, but this is no means where it ends, and you want to see yourself becoming an educational platform. What does that look like? What other services should we be expecting? What are the other big ideas that are bubbling within the team that you're hoping to bring to life without getting them stolen in the process?
I was going to say, ooh, that's a tricky one. I think what I can and able to say is that we are very customer centric, and we are looking to solve the problem of the customer and not Dylan and Abed's problem. So we are very customer focused. We conduct studies with groups of students to say, what problems do you face day to day? Be it, I don't have the right textbooks, and we say, cool, how do we fix that? And that's one of the things we are doing. How do I buy secondhand textbooks from Varsity? I can't afford it. Or how do I get access to lecture slides when I'm doing distance learning? So that's some of the things that, without giving away too much, we're trying to solve. And in real reality, as I said, we're not solving Dylan and Abed's problem. We are literally every day building for our customer and for education.
You should go into politics. That is a beautiful way of sidestepping the issue completely. But let's talk about the team, Dylan. I mean, one of the things that I noticed when I came in was a very lovely energy. And this obviously must mean that you guys are working deliberately on crafting a certain culture and a certain way of being for Tuta-Me. What does that actually look like?
Well, look, I mean, it's one thing I've really enjoyed going from an employee to entrepreneur is like the first time you hire someone and you pay. And I mean, Abed and I have only been at this for about a year and a bit now, and we're already a team of 6.
Wow.
So it's really great to know that every month, I mean, we built it out of nothing, and there's 6 people who have jobs, and they all love their jobs, and we have a very dynamic team. I mean, we have remote developers that live in Bethel. One guy lives in Centurion. I work half at home, come into the office. Cloney lives in Pretoria. So we're just all people that share a common passion, and each person has a unique trait. And I think it's key in a business like this to have the right culture. And it's a lot easier said than done.
Yeah. So if you guys could give advice to other young entrepreneurs who are watching the show at this moment, your journey obviously must have had some really tough low moments and also highs, I would assume. What are the key lessons you can distill from that journey that you think, you know, if I share this with another entrepreneur, I think I'm making their journey just a bit more smoother?
Yeah, so I think for me, one of the mottos that we sort of live by here is that I think most people start a business with the view that they want to become rich or they want to become successful. And I would almost counter that and say, start first with solving a problem. And then the rest follows, because I'd like to think that the people that have gained success and garnered massive amounts of wealth in the world are people that really sought out to solve a problem. And coincidentally of that, they became wealthy. So for us, we really are just so problem focused and solution driven that if it all works out, amazing for us, but if it doesn't, we've contributed meaningfully to people's lives. I think if people start a business with that in mind, you really can't go wrong. Hey?
I also think that as a young entrepreneur, one values their idea too much. So you come in and you say, I think this is how it should be. And it's good because that's your drive, that's your direction. But one needs to be able to take your opinion on something. When you ask your first client, how's our app? And they go, oh, the green's not nice. You quickly and you go, no, but that's the right green. But you're not hearing the client doesn't like green. It's quite simple. So a lot of it is actually listening to what people say, regardless of what your opinion is and what you think about it, and then acting on that. Whether you agree or not, you must process and put it through your company's values. But I think it's very important. There's a big learning curve as startups when you try to push your own thing the whole time. And eventually you just give in and say, you know what, actually, you were right, the clients want this.
And it's taken you a long time to get there.
Yes, it does. The sooner you do that, the better.
The sooner you start listening to what clients are actually saying, the smoother your journey could become. You've heard this from Dylan Hyslop as well as his co-founder in Tuta-Me, that's Abed, talking to us about their dream and how they've used that dream to penetrate the education space in South Africa, but they're saying that this is not the end. We should be looking out for more from them, and they're going to be bringing more products and services that are going to make them educational leaders in South Africa. Thank you so much for making the time to join us. As you can see, 2017 has started off on a big bang. If you want us to come to you with our cameras and get you onto the show, it's really simple. All you need to do is follow me on Twitter. That's @TheRealNozi, and of course use our hashtag, which is YoungMoney410, and we'll bring a crew out to you. Until next time, it's goodbye.